You're watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for joining me on another edition of Inside Automotive right here at the CVT Automotive Network. I'm so happy to have with me in the studio Mr. Jim Henne, who is the president of Performance Motors, which is a Toyota dealership, and Joseph Robinson, general manager of Robinson Toyota. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for joining me here at CVT News in the studio. So we really appreciate you making the pilgrimage here. So
appreciate it.
Let's kind of jump right in here and talk a little bit about the state of the auto retail business right now. And Jim, I'll start with you. With all that's coming out of D.C., what do things look like in your market and at your store with regard to tariffs? Are you getting a lot of customers that are coming in concerned about this?
We did. We had the tariff rush in March.
Okay.
From our perspective on it, it's very similar to COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to see used car prices go way up.
Yeah.
We've actually stopped discounting our new cars. I think it all depends how you approach it. We took an approach during COVID. We wholesaled a lot of cars.
Yeah.
My philosophy, our store's philosophy, is that we're not going to put an addendum on the car. We're not going to sell a used car because the market says it's worth $10,000 over clean retail and then bury that customer.
Right.
So we're doing the same thing now because right now it's the same way. We're taking these late model trades. We're wholesaling and making a bunch of money. Customers happy, we're happy.
Okay.
But I don't see a lot of difference between this and COVID.
Okay.
In terms of the tariffs. And
Yeah.
the tariffs are still fluid. Nobody really knows.
Right, right. One dealer that I talked to said that the difference that he saw in the tariff versus COVID was the fact that during COVID, you had very low interest rates and you had all of these consumers getting checks. He said that we're going to see if that is making a big difference. Would he be? Is that a concern of yours?
Knock on wood, no, we're not seeing it.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, our numbers are right where they've been. Demand's there, leads are up. No, I don't see it as being a problem. I think people are used to these interest rates.
Sure.
They realize they're not going to go back down.
Okay.
They're going to go down a little bit if they're watching the news.
Right.
You're not going to get back down to the twos,
right.
zeros.
Sure.
No.
Yeah, interesting. And how about you? What are you seeing at your store, and what concerns do you have about the tariffs, if any?
I'm not overly concerned about the tariffs because, to Jim's point, all we know is we don't really know anything.
That's right.
It's just
the only thing that's certain is uncertainty.
That's the truth, and I think our current administration's goal with the tariffs is to bring back production to the United States, and I think that if that happens and the automakers agree to start bringing production back to the United States, jobs back to the United States, I wouldn't be surprised if we see these tariffs kind of unwind a little bit. Mm-hmm. But if they don't, then we'll see where it goes from there. We also did have a rush in March for COVID, but I don't think we're going to see any big changes right now. Mm-hmm. We really just don't know what it's going to look like. But us, too, are both Toyota dealers, and one thing that's really going in our favor is that Toyota, for a long time, has been heavily invested in the United States market and production. In fact,
so true.
Toyota is the number one American-made car nowadays. A lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah, they don't.
So of any manufacturer, we are in a good position. But again, we just don't know. Only time will tell really how this influence on our industry is going to pan out.
Yeah, for sure. They're building the cars here. However, before we got recorded, you guys mentioned that you've got a low day supply of vehicles that you've been working on. Talk to me about that.
Well, and that's kind of been their model since COVID. So, once COVID hit, inventory replenished. We ran 19 straight months without a single car in our lot. And the dealers were telling the region
19 months without a single car.
And we were delivering 100 per month. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So we were 100% turn for 19
So you just had a line of people when that transport.
It was great. We had no floor plan expense. It was a profit center.
Yeah.
But Toyota realized that during those times, they could still hit their volume targets without burying dealers with, a 200-day supply of cars.
Yeah.
And they said they're going to keep doing that. And for us, I mean, it's fantastic. I drive around and look at, I see 150 Ram trucks sitting in the lot.
I know.
I said he's a 19-day supply. We're at 30, which is our highest in probably a year.
Right.
And it's fantastic.
Right. It's interesting that other manufacturers haven't followed suit because the dealers are happier, the grocers are happier, the customer's happier because the value of that car remains higher and they're not losing 10 grand when they drive off. It just makes more sense to have a model like that, doesn't it?
Yeah. And you're already seeing the incentives from the other manufacturers. So $10,000 off
Yeah,
an F-150s and Toyota. There is virtually no incentive money.
That's right.
And the big problem that you'll run into for the consumer is that if they are buying from these manufacturers that are taking these vehicles and having to have these huge incentives, if you just bought your car 6 months ago, a year ago, and then the manufacturer releases this $10,000 off that vehicle, well, you just lost $10,000 in the value of your vehicle.
That's right.
And when you want to try to come back into the dealership to maybe upgrade it, get something new to you, you might be upside down, and it wasn't your fault. And that's what a lot of where Toyota has been able to maintain its resale value. That's one of our biggest selling points is that when you do buy a Toyota, a car is never really a great investment. It's going to most likely depreciate.
It's going to depreciate, right.
But if you are going to make an investment, Toyota is the best investment as far as a vehicle goes, Toyota Lexus, because there is a limited amount of production and the demand is super high. So it allows the prices to stay high, and they don't come out with these huge incentives and rebates that bury their customers in their vehicles. So it allows customers to stay in positive equity positions and able to come back to the new car market when they're ready to make a move.
That's right. That's right. It just makes sense all the way around. Joseph, talk to me about the used car market today, because obviously that is something that we're going to definitely see some movement on. You know, dealers are buying them, CarMax is buying them, Carvana is buying them. Everybody that's in the car business just needs to get those used cars in anticipation of new car sales kind of lightening up.
Sure.
Maybe not a Toyota, but other franchises.
Sure.
So talk to me about that. Is that what strategies do you have in place today to acquire more used vehicles, if any?
Yeah, so used cars is a huge focus at our dealership, because I feel like the greatest area for a dealership to grow its customer base is with its used cars. What we've seen as far as acquisitions go, like any dealer, will acquire them absolutely everywhere we possibly can, whether it be in the street from the service drive, off trade. We'll buy in bulk from Enterprise, buy in bulk at the auctions, anywhere. I just want to get as many cars through the shop as we possibly can. It helps my technicians, helps my parts department, allows us to have more opportunities to sell new vehicles, get new customers, and it allows our F&I guys opportunities to sell products. What I've seen over the last few months, to Jim's point earlier about the rising prices of used cars, with the tariff talk, it has scared a lot of people. And like he said, if new car prices go up, used car prices will follow, because the demand for new cars is going to lighten, and they'll have to shift to the used car market, and that supply is fixed. And if anything, it's dwindled since COVID because of of production constraints. So our supply is limited. The demand's going to go up, causing prices to go up. So we have seen prices increase recently, but we'll see a little bit more normal. It paced a little higher than the normal spring appreciation that we normally see, and that, I think, is related to the tariff talk.
Jim, are you doing anything different to acquire used cars that is out of the norm? Or
we recently implemented a private party acquisition person. So a manager, that his sole job is he works with a vehicle acquisition network to go out and buy cars off the street. It's relatively new. He's bought a handful, but we're actually looking to add some people to that. We just brought back our vehicle exchange team for the service drive. That's something we had pre-COVID, very successful. We were converting roughly 3% of customer PROs into either trades or new purchases, or all three purchases. So we just implemented that on Monday, hired a full-time person back for that department. And other than that, we're living off of trades. We haven't bought at auctions since before COVID.
Really?
Yeah.
Everything's been trade-ins.
So our volume's down 40%. But our grosses are making up for the lack of volume.
So I'm the opposite philosophy.
There's definitely two philosophies.
They're totally. And
that's right.
Neither one.
Whatever adds to the bottom line.
It's just bottom line. Whatever works for your bottom line.
When you're looking for cars, are you looking primarily for Toyotas, or are you open?
We're looking for everything. But of course, being a Toyota, we're a single point standalone Toyota store. So our primary objective is to source Toyotas. However, we have inside our shop, we have our own all makes and models technicians that operate within our Toyota store. So we're not afraid to buy any off makes, and they'll do the reconditioning, and we're happy to sell that too.
Right, gotcha.
Used car volume is, we just want to sell as many used cars as we possibly can.
Right. I had the pleasure of interviewing Senator Bernie Moreno a couple of weeks ago in New York, and he said that this is going to be that it's a blip on the radar, and it's going to be a topic, the tariffs I'm speaking of, that we're not even going to be talking about a year from now. Do you agree or disagree?
I do agree. You control the controllables.
Yeah.
Don't watch the news. My philosophy.
Don't watch, except CBT News.
Except CBT News.
Yes.
But no, it is. These things get blown out of proportion. Yeah. You've already seen the last couple of weeks where tariffs are being stripped down.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a deal maker. It's what he does. He makes deals.
That's right.
And
that's right.
I have to put my faith in him. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
It seems like he does thus far. You've got, I mean, the amount of U.S. investment in the last couple of months is staggering.
That's right. That's right.
And so no, I'm not concerned about it. I think he's right.
Still supporting him. No
100%.
No problem. Good.
Yeah,
Good.
100%.
Good. And
I'm right in line with him. I think that Trump is a negotiator and he plays hardball, and I think that he's going to start with the tariffs, and I think as the manufacturers listen to him, start bringing this production back to the United States, I can see if they do this, which they have already begun, spending billions back into the United States,
making commitments.
If the commitments continue, I wouldn't be surprised if these tariffs aren't as bad as we're currently thinking they may be.
Sure. Do either of you want to take a guess at what the SAR might be by the end of the year? I mean,
oh boy. I mean, March was what, 17 plus million?
Yeah.
They were predicting 17 million for April. I think that number came out yet. I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to say 17.
You think we can do that?
I think we can do it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think he's right.
Yeah.
I don't think the production's not our problem this time.
Yeah.
And the SAR, when we saw a SAR dip, it was a production issue.
That's right. Ships
and right now we're actually seeing the opposite. We're seeing, and again, I can only speak for Toyota, but we're seeing Toyota's commitment to record number of wholesales, record numbers of production.
Yeah.
So, and the demand, as we said, with these record numbers of production, yet our ground supply is still 19 and 30.
Yeah.
That means the units are moving. So I would say there's no reason, unless something crazy happens between now and then, there could be some variable that we don't know about today that could happen. But based on all the facts we have today, I think the current SAR number is definitely obtainable.
Yeah. Are you guys amazed that sales are as brisk as they are in light of all that we hear in the media? You would think that the consumers would be a little, frightened or scared away from the showrooms to say, wait a minute, we're not sure where this thing is going to go.
I think they were, like, our April started off real slow. So April you had the stock market all over the place. But that, once that settled down, it's like we made up for all that lost traffic in the beginning of the month and almost had a record month. So
That's great.
Again, so I tell them, don't watch the news except for CBT because it does. It's
That's right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, no, it is. It's every single channel, and they say that only 45% of the people even have anything in stocks, and the vast majority of them, it's through their 401ks. So it's not like they're traveling and or working in millions of dollars of stock one way or the other.
Right.
It doesn't affect them too much, and everybody needs a car, right?
Yeah, that was going to be what I was going to say is that the beauty of our industry is that everybody needs transportation. In order to pay for your home, most people need a vehicle to go to work to be able to pay for the most important bill, and that's their mortgage. So I might argue that your car payment's more important than your mortgage payment on your ability to afford things in life. So I think everybody needs a car. We've seen that during COVID. When we thought times were going to get real bad, people still came out and bought cars.
That's right.
So I think people will continue to buy cars. People love cars. I mean, cars are fun. They're stories, and they're a way to get around. So.
And worst case scenario, if hopefully they don't, people stop buying cars, it comes into fixed ops. So I remember back in 2008.
Oh yeah.
Our fixed ops department.
Oh my God! Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
they have to fix their cars.
That's right.
So they got to keep
them.
It's a win-win, really. Yeah.
Hey, if a used car comes in on trade and it's got 95,000 miles on it, it's a 3-year-old car, and other than that, it's a clean car. Okay, do you keep that car now?
Yeah.
You do.
If we can inspect it, like Pennsylvania, we have a state safety inspection. A lot of states don't, but we can inspect it. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
And you'll retail it.
Yep.
Is there financing available on that car?
Depends.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
It really, I mean,
Maybe
it
on the
depends,
customer.
Right. Depends on the book. Depends on the customer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But a 3-year-old car with high mileage,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Age would be a bigger factor. If it was 10 years old or older.
Yeah, it might be.
Regardless of mileage.
Yeah, regardless of mileage, that would be a little bit more difficult to finance.
Yeah. So as we wrap up, I'll just ask you this one last question, I promise, and that is, and you guys are Toyota dealers, so everybody that's watching goes, well, you got 2 Toyota dealers sitting there. So
I have a Volvo franchise also.
These guys don't know.
I do have a Volvo franchise.
Oh, there you go. Okay. They're going to say, these guys don't know the real business. But kidding aside, what keeps you up at night, if anything, about either your operation, your market, or the industry as a whole?
For me, it would be, we did see during COVID grosses that we hadn't seen before.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Our store has been able to maintain that. So
that's great.
And my biggest fear is one day we wake up and the margin compression really is real. We have a bunch of new cars sitting on the lot because the demand did soften. Yeah. But supply, kept going. But to our point, I think Toyota is very keyed in on the ground supply. So my biggest concern is continuing being able to sell as many Toyotas, but yet also be profitable in doing it.
Yeah. How about you?
I agree 100%.
What he said.
Well, no, you go back to
see what Toyota guys worry about. Basically nothing, folks.
2019.
Because that's the only non-controllable.
Right.
It really is. 2019, you were selling Toyotas at triple net losses because you had to do it because you had so many cars. And now that's not the case. And I really don't think, and I hope, Toyota gods are listening out there. They keep doing what they're doing. Keep the supply low and just keep the pipeline moving because it works 100%.
Yeah, we awesome. Found a business model. It's like a Rolex business model. It works. And then when the vehicle's a little bit more difficult to get, people want it more.
That's right.
And so, we have wait lists for our vehicles, it's just...
Unless it's a Tacoma.
Unless it's
we have plenty of those,
Come pick yours out, and we'll make you a deal.
Yeah.
But I think it's been great for the Toyota manufacturer because people want what they can't get. And Toyotas are a little bit hard to get right now, but we've got customers that are happy to wait for them, and when they get in them, they love them, and then they never want to buy another brand again either.
That's the thing. It protects the brand. It protects the value of the car.
That's right.
Having limited supplies.
That's right.
It's a win. The customers, the only downside is they might have to wait a little bit for their car sometimes in some cases, but the upside is the value is going to stay there, and they've got a great product.
No question about it. Jim Henne, President of Performance Motors, and Joseph Robinson, General Manager of Robinson Toyota. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for stopping by CVT News. We very much appreciate it. I know that our dealer audience, while you are Toyota dealers, are still going to get a lot out of our discussion. So thank you so much.
Best of luck for having us.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Sure.
Thanks for watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.